Hi, I'm Valerie, and for the month of October in 2020, I attempted careering. This is a 40-something guide. So I challenged myself for the month of October to get over my innate discomfort with self-promotion, networking, and procrastination over figuring out what it is I want to do when I grow up, or at least for the next 30-ish years that I'll need to work. So my methods for accomplishing this task, if you've watched any of my other challenges, yes, I'll link to them. You know I like to set sort of process goals for myself so I can sort of fixate on that instead of, things that I may or may not accomplish. It's a lot of months of lockdown at this point, so we need to set ourselves up for some easy wins and some things we can accomplish just to get through the day. So my methods for this, or my process goals, were to work on updating my LinkedIn profile. So really finish filling out my profile. Add an up-to-date photo, make sure my job description is reflective of what I'm doing right now. Took into consideration my responsibilities, some keywords or buzzwords that in theory an algorithm or a bot might search on, and make sure that I included portfolio links or examples of the work that I do in my real world job that I thought might be representative of the type of work I could do for someone else, or you if you're hiring. I also wanted to get in the habit of contributing and being part of said community, so I challenged myself to post most days. Again, let's set that bar low so that I can accomplish it. And that could be sharing articles that other people posted, posting my own video content when it came out. In my real world job, I have a YouTube schedule, or I did at the time, so as that stuff was coming out real world, sort of cross-promote it on my own LinkedIn profile, and to interact and network. So my goal was to get at least 31 new contacts for the 31 days of October. So make an effort to request connections. The easiest way to do that from people that at one point when I used other platforms, I had contacts from, so, Facebook, Instagram, what have you. Really dig into trying to remember the different people I've worked with over the course of my career, and seeing if they were on LinkedIn and connect as well. So, and also try to join some groups that would be professionally aligned with what I'm interested in doing, and sort of share, comment, actually kind of get to know what's out there. So spend about 10 minutes a day reading content from others, articles, stuff that I find inspirational, follow and subscribe to newsletters that align with my interests. And so that was what my intention is, to get myself more into sort of a professional capacity of networking in a socially distanced, safe way. So sort of the background is, with the job market and my job future being somewhat uncertain, as I know is the case for many people, I thought it would be a good challenge for myself to get serious about the career world. Only took 20 odd years of professional life to get there. My teammates at my current job are way into LinkedIn, which, if you're not familiar with LinkedIn, it's a social media platform, but it's more geared towards business. So in theory, it's a little more professional than a Facebook or a LinkedIn or a Snapchat or whatever, though it has many of the common features that you'll see on those other platforms, like a feed wall, contacts, or network, a network of people, but it's using lingo that's kind of specific to the business world in theory. So I know from my peers who are much more advanced at using this platform what some of the expectations are. I'm an innately suspicious person in general when it comes to any form of social networking. It seems to me, one, like there's potential for it to be a huge time suck. I know who I am, and I know that I have a tendency to fall down black holes when it comes to sort of social media or internet. Two, it seems like it has potential to be just another place in the social network world where there's lots of dudes mansplaining things to people, or mean people hide behind avatars to harass and call each other names. And in general, I find a lot of those places not to be good for my mental health, unless you care to spend a whole lot of time curating and not letting those people enter your network. And even so, a general kind of rule of thumb is don't read the comments. Nobody's got anything nice to say in the comments. I get that LinkedIn is intended to be different in that people are supposed to be using their real names, and this is supposed to be a more professional setting. I have read some comments. It's not always the case, but a little more so maybe than the Wild West of Facebook. So it creates a dilemma. So that's sort of my backstory, but my coworker, shout out to Tiffany, has explained to me how LinkedIn can be helpful, as many recruiters and HR professionals, when they're looking into hiring, will search on hashtags or titles that they're hiring for, and they'll contact the first X number, say, of pages of people who return that meet those hashtags or job titles. So it's a bit like Googling if you're hiring. There's also, of course, bots that perform the same function as well. But the idea is that you're actually finding people who potentially you could be hiring and looking at their resumes on LinkedIn. So, which leads to the question, how do you end up in those first few pages? And it's like any one of the social media search engines on a social media platform, or Googling with search engine optimization. There's a proprietary algorithm, and it's a numbers and activities game, or at least that's what it sounds like with LinkedIn. Essentially, how many connections do you have? How complete is your profile? How much activity are your posts getting? So, how quickly is someone liking it, or commenting on it, or using one of the other emoticons that they can indicate support or celebration or what have you. So if this sounds like a popularity campaign, like a lot of other influencer related stuff, it's because it is to a certain degree. It seems that way at least, but let's all just join the great scramble, because it's apparently about trying to get noticed in this big jumble until we have a big enough name or body of work to not need any of this tomfoolery, or are just inherently independently wealthy. And since I'm not, we'd all like to be above such things, and I'm not suggesting that there aren't other ways to accomplish the same feats and ends, the ends being sweet job offers and opportunities flowing like honeyed wine, or, seltzer, if that's your preferred poison. So here we go. So I will insert some screenshots in here somewhere to kind of show you what I worked on individually. How did I do on my process goals? It's not all just about wearing this golden blazer dressed up for you, wearing mascara. With my process goals, as when it came to updating LinkedIn, I did finish filling out my profile. I added an up-to-date photo. I took the time to really look at my job description and responsibilities. I took the time to add portfolio links, which were videos from my real world job. So check on those. I did update those things, and actually a couple of times. I continue kind of every time I read over it, I tweak a word or change things around. And it can be a little bit challenging to sort of pose things in a way that kind of aligns with, if you've ever read any articles on or suggestions about updating your resume, you want to think about things in a certain way. Like you want to gear it towards action and results. So not just saying, not that I file things, but if you're filing things, like, don't just talk about that you're a skilled filer. You want to talk about how that filing impacts your business's bottom line or the customers that you're serving in some way. So there's a certain amount of wordsmithing with that happens. And a great way, if you kind of don't know how to wrap your head around that, I would recommend reading job postings for jobs that you'd like to have, and then kind of cross-reference the skills, responsibility, and experience you have with those. So I'm not saying fabricating things, but I am saying it's a good blueprint for comparing what you have with where you want to end up. And it certainly gives you ideas, if you don't have those skills or experiences yet, to start thinking about how you can apply them, or how things you already do or do have experience with might take the place or be a good fit for those. So I'd recommend, if nothing else, if you're going to try something similar, to reading job postings for jobs you'd like to have. Also doing some of that searching yourself and reading the profiles of people who have jobs and experiences that you'd like to have. It can really help you, and that's something I did. I sort of started jotting notes as I looked at other related profiles about sort of dream titles and dream job descriptions that I might want to have, and thought about how I could apply those to my individual job. And through that process, I ended up sort of exploring to myself what my own mission, vision, whatever are related to my career. And that was really helpful to try to figure out what I truly value and to find the best way to communicate that to others. When it came to my second process goal, which was posting daily, sharing articles, posting my own video content as it launches from my real world job, I did that. I did hit sort of a bump in the road where I read an article that explained that sharing articles from within the app is not getting those shares seen by others in my network, which is really a bummer. I guess the algorithm sees it. If you're sharing something someone else posted, it's like duplicate content, and they're looking for more original content. So, though I did still read things and find things as part of my sort of daily spending 10 minutes or so reading things, I would go to the original source. So if they were something someone posted from a blog or from a media outlet, I would go to that outlet, get the original link, and then post it if I wanted to, because you gotta play the algorithm game. So if you post or reshare something someone has already shared, like 20% of your contacts will see it. So good to know. I did mention that I shared my own work, and another kind of tricky situation is that just like Facebook or many other social media outlets, they reward things that are uploaded directly to their platform. They don't love content shared, say, from YouTube. Well, I didn't really figure out a workaround for that. And since one of my goals was to include my own work for my portfolio, I just uploaded it to there. And if not that many people saw it, maybe if you took the time and looked, I did highlight some of those so that at least they're there. As far as my goal of networking and interacting, as I mentioned, my goal was to get at least 31 new contacts. So I requested connections. I liked, shared, and commented as a way to get my name out there. Check. I was under 200 contacts at the start of the month, and as of typing this, I think I was at like 238. So at least 40 plus contacts. And that's with learning to immediately remove contacts, because another pro tip, strangers who are requesting, who you might think, oh, I want to have more connections, are often people who are selling something, trying to get you to contact them off platform for whatever, I assume, nefarious purposes. Or there are those that seem to think of it as a dating app, which is not great. So I did get in the habit of if someone, immediately started messaging me in a way that I was not comfortable with, just immediately removing and blocking that contact. I did manage to make some connections, though, with people who have what seem like really cool jobs or posted really insightful comments. So that's nice, community building and whatnot. I also connected with some folks that I know from the way back and had a couple of nice conversations with them as well, just about sort of what was going on with them currently. So win-win there's. Plenty of people did not respond to my connection requests. And I did not take that as personally as maybe I might have someday. Lots of people are busy. Lots of people have profiles that they don't use. And I mean, to be honest, some people probably just don't want to connect with me, despite my blazer. So my final goal was to get in the loop, to spend 10 minutes approximately daily reading contact from others, following and subscribing to newsletters. And check, I did this for the most part. It was interesting, and again, it gave me insight into what is really interesting and drives me, which was very helpful to know. Lots of positive psychology and women's articles were definitely of interest to me, and again, just seeing some inspirational content on a regular basis was, I think, healthy and helpful for me. So, sort of final thoughts or takeaways. Did I find myself deluged by job offers? No. Do I have more to learn and do? Yes. It did help less with the existential dread I have associated with social networking. Again, if I had a general comment, it would be don't read the comments. It's one of my most top tips. Or read the comments for the good stuff and skip the bad. And you can usually tell pretty quickly which direction it's going to go. It also helped me get over myself when it comes to self-promotion. Very simply, you have to be willing to show what you're doing. Yeah, nobody else, or you can't really expect other people to do. I have to say again, shout out to my coworker Tiffany. She does post some of my content, which is really kind and great of her. And after all, almost no one sees what you're posting, at least if you're me. So no worries. Just like these videos, it's a chance to practice and to start where you are. And don't we all need that practice? And I could say some Brene Brown stuff about, you got to put yourself out there. It's big heart, courage. I think the networking and the practice staying in the loop are worthwhile, even if I choose not to do it every day going forward. And in full disclosure, I'm way behind on this video. So it's actually December, and I definitely don't post every day anymore. I am trying to do sort of a weekly post, and with some mixed degree of success. I definitely, as work is busier, it's something I've let fall to the wayside, but I have tried to use the platform to say as I meet work goals or approach work goals, to give people a chance to support me in them. And I have tried to post when I finish some like professional development stuff. And actually, the most popular post I've had to date is one where I shared that I finished a certification for work. And it's crazy because I think because it was original content post, I think it got a lot more visibility, and the more visibility it got, the more people liked or commented. LinkedIn does this thing where it'll say this person posted this, or they have an anniversary, or it's their birthday. Do you want to say congratulations? So I'm thinking that they must have, to my contacts, have offered the opportunity for an easy congratulations for people, which is cool. It's nice to be recognized and to see some unusual voices doing so. So I would recommend this. I don't know that you need to post every day. That's up to you. But I would encourage you to really spend the time and think about, especially if you are 40-something, still trying to get your career house in order. Spend the time to reflect and see what you think of it. And I have to say I'm in the position right now where I'm having the opportunity to kind of put into practice. There's some things shaking up at work, and really think about where I want to go from here. And I'm glad that I did some of that pre-work to do so. So, if nothing else, if I could encourage you to spend some time thinking about what your own, vision, values, mission, what's your elevator pitch that you would give someone about what you do and why you do it. Do that. And as we're looking to 2021, maybe you'll have an opportunity to put those into practice. That's my speech. Let me know what you do in terms of self-promotion. Do you use social networking? Do you use LinkedIn? Any tips or tools? I'd be happy to hear your recommendations. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you really liked it, subscribe and hit the bell so you know when I publish new content, tardy as always. Thanks for watching.